环球财经的环节，纽约记者庞哲将会邀请基金经理剖析美国监管效果和银行业的投资机会。交给你，庞哲。
是的，福江近期呢，美国监管机构对美国银行业的制裁罚款消息是频频传来，使很多投资人对银行业投资不再青睐。那么今天呢，经济观察我们就从监管机构的监管效果与银行业的投资机会这个角度来进行分析。不过呢，在推出这些内容之前，我们先回顾一下过去一个星期欧美股票市场走势的状况。周一，美国股市受葡萄牙银行获注的消息支持，开低走高。周二，受俄罗斯在乌克兰边境驻扎重兵三大指数走跌。美股周三、周四利空消息是来源于欧洲经济方面，美股三大指数是先升后跌。周五，乌克兰和俄罗斯局势得到缓解减轻，因美军空袭伊拉克地区的不定因素的影响，大盘开低走高。欧洲股市周一个别发展，周二受经济数据支持，欧股高收。意大利经济数据再度萎缩，欧洲股市周三收跌，而乌克兰局势紧张，对周四的欧股造成负面的影响。周五，投资人担忧伊拉克与俄罗斯地缘边界的政治情况紧张，欧股再度收跌。在金融风暴之后，美国银行业的日子是越来越不好过。金融监管机构的重罚与制裁的消息频频传来，使银行业的收入来源也是越来越狭窄的情况下，很多投资人就更不敢问津银行业的股票了。那么在今天的经济观察单元当中呢，我们就请 FJ 资产管理的合伙创办人马丁·费德曼为我们分析一下银行业监管的效果，以由此而产生的投资银行业的新的机会。
So what we're seeing is the U.S. regulations are tending to be more conservative than to international peers. For example, the leverage ratio suggests that the U.S. banks need to maintain 5% Tier 1 capital, whereas the international standard, which was promulgated by Basel III, is 3%. So right there you see a differential that the U.S. Regulatory system is more conservative, which will affect the competition. Regulation is meant to protect the system, but what I see is a lot of the regulation is put forth based on the last crisis and not necessarily the next crisis.
For banks, they have to survive. They may have to find out some other ways to make money, but the other ways may not be regulated for now because nobody knows who they are, but it may be more even riskier.
I think the regulation is reducing the return on equity for the banks, making it harder for them to earn their cost of capital. I also see the effect of the regulation is causing an increase in the shadow banking system in the U.S. There's some reports that suggest that it's back up to pre-crisis levels. And so what that does is create some systemic risk that's outside of the heavily regulated. So there is some problems that are caused by all the over-regulation today.
You think the economic impact from the banking sector being so tied up, not doing things they used to do, will show later on?
No doubt, Jackie, that economic growth is impacted by the regulation. It's hard to estimate, but I would suggest that it's two things are happening. One, the burden of the regulation is causing the banks to be more conservative in their lending, so certain segments of the population are finding it hard to find credit. The other point is that with all of the intense regulation, the returns profile is lowering, particularly for the largest banks in the United States. The community banks, where we do a lot of our investing, are less burdened by the regulations, but still have quite a few that they have to contend with. The Dodd-Frank legislation, Jackie, was over 830 pages.
Yes.
And to put that in context, J.P. Morgan recently said in one of their conference calls that they have 13,000 people working in compliance and regulation.
Right.
Citicorp said they have 30,000 people. The average small community bank is having a hard time dealing with all the new regulations. And what is the net effect? Consolidation. And so we're investing in companies that we think will participate in the consolidation, either buy other companies or sell.
And then it will make less of the number of the banks and the bigger of the size of the banks. Isn't that the problem the regulatory system's supposed to prevent from happening?
It is, and what they've done is they bifurcate it. So if you're one of the top 10 banks in the U.S., you cannot make any more acquisitions.
Okay.
So it's the bottom, which is most of the banks in the United States, under $250 billion in assets. Those are the ones that are active in consolidation, and even smaller than that. As I mentioned earlier, the scale, the need for scale. As regulatory costs increase, you need to have more assets to spread over all the costs. And so the need for scale is increasing. And so the average bank today needs to be somewhere in the neighborhood of $2 to $10 billion in assets just to deal with all the regulatory burden. But it's not the big companies that are going to acquire anymore. It's the smaller banks, and that's where we focus.